Welcome back to the next unit video. This is unit 3 for the foundation tier of GCSE Maths, and today we're looking at data. So we're going to look at frequency tables, bar charts, scatter graphs, frequency polygons, stem and leaf, pictograms and pie charts in this, and I've squeezed it all in, so hopefully you've got it all on one sheet in front of you. The first sheet we're going to go through together as always, so we'll go through that side both together. You can make any notes that you like, and then you're going to turn it over, pause the video, have a go at those exam questions on the back on your own, and then continue playing the video to go through the answers for those as well. And I hope you find it helpful. Right, let's go. And we are starting with a frequency table. So we've got some data here. Hannah asked some students to vote on the best name for a shark. Here are the results. And we've got lots of results there, different students that have said different things. And we're going to complete the frequency table. So firstly, I'm just going to cross off. So if someone said Bruce, I'll tally that by showing a little line there like that. And then we've got Polly, we've got Sandra. I'm not going to bother trying to find out how many Sandras there are and then fill that in. I'm just going to do it in order. So another vote for Polly, another vote for Polly, another vote for Polly. It's a popular name for a shark. Steve there, another Steve there. We've then got Sandra, we've got Finley, we've got another Finley. And I'm just filling this out. When you get to 5, we're going to put a cross through that like that. So that's like a group of 5. Just makes it easier to count when we get to the end. Finley, Polly, Finley, Sandra, Bruce, Sandra, and Polly and Polly. And then the next column says frequency, and that just means how many there are. So frequency here is 2. For Polly, the frequency was 8. For Finley, the frequency was 4. For Sandra, the frequency was 4. And for Steve, the frequency was 2. So I'm putting that information there like that. Now, I probably would just check, because up here there were 4 rows of 5. I know it should add up to 20. There were 20 pieces of data up here. So I'm just going to do a quick check. 8 add 2 is 10. Add 4, add 4, add 2. Yes, that adds up to 20. So I know I've not missed any. It's a pretty good thing to do, just to check that you haven't missed any as you've gone through. And that adds up to 20, so we're happy with that. Write down the name that is the mode. Now, the mode is the most common. So here you might think, well, 4's the most common because there's 2 of them, or 2's the most common because there's 2 of them. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking for the name that was the most common, and that is going to be Polly, because it had the highest frequency of 8. It was the most common answer that the students gave. So Polly is going to be my modal name there. Then below we are given the ages in months of a group of hamsters. Draw a stem and leaf diagram for the data. So I've got 12, 21, 6, 9, 14, 31, 10, 7, 25, 18 and 14. Now normally I would leave myself room to do a draft one first. So what I would usually do, and I've not given myself much room, but I'm going to squeeze it in up here, is do a draft one. I'm going to get the data in a stem and leaf diagram, but not necessarily in the right order yet. I just find this easier because it's hard to get the order when they're all random like this. So I'm going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, because I've got numbers in the 10s, numbers in the 20s, numbers in the 30s, and numbers less than 10 as well. And then I'm just going to do them in order. So 12 would go in the 10 row. So it's 12 like that. 21, we put a 1 in the 2 row because that number's in the 20s. 6 is going to go up here, it hasn't got any 10s. 9 is going to go next to that. 14 goes in the 10s row, but we just put a 4 because we've already got the 1 for the 10 out the front. 31 goes like that. 10 goes there, so we put a 0 in the 10s row. 7 goes here. 25 goes here. 18 goes here. And 14 goes here. So I've got all the numbers in the right rows now. In order to do this correctly, they have to be in the right order within each row. So I'm going to say 0 10s, 1 10s, numbers in the 10s, numbers in the 20s, and numbers in the 30s. And now I'm going to look at the 3 numbers that are in that row and put them in the right order. So I've got 6, and then 7, and then 9. Then in the next row, I've got 2, 4, 0, 8, 4 because I had 12, 14, 10, 18 and 14, but I want to put them in the right order. So 10, 12, 14, 14 and 18. So 0, 2, 4, 4, 8, giving me those numbers there. And then we've got a 1 and a 5 here. They're already in the right order, and a 1 here. So that is all my data. Now what I would do is just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I'm happy that I've not missed any and I've still got 11 pieces of data in my answer. Most common mistake I see with these is not doing it. It's that you miss numbers going from the data into the diagram. And now we just need to do a key, always going to be worth an extra mark. So I'm going to do something like, it doesn't even have to be a number here, but I'm just going to pick 2 line 1 equals 21. I'm just showing the examiner that I understand how to read a stem and leaf diagram. So having a 2 on this side and a 1 on this side of the line is 21. You don't have to use a number there. You can use any number you like. You can put 21 months if you like. You could put 0 line 6 equals 6 months. Whatever you like. Now, the question we're asked at the bottom here was for the median. And the median is the middle hamster. So we're looking for the middle value. Up here, they weren't in order, so I don't want to look at that. But my stem and leaf diagram is in order. So the smallest or the youngest hamster was 6 months old and the oldest was 31. If you want, you can cross off. So the youngest was that, the oldest was that. The youngest was that, the oldest was that. Youngest, oldest, youngest, oldest, youngest, oldest, and we're left with that 4 in the middle. That is our middle value. And a lot of students would then write 4 on the answer line, except we need to remember that this is not 4. It's not 4, it's in that one row, and therefore it has a value of 14. So my answer here for the median is 14 months. Because that is the value in the middle. Other way to do it, if you have 11 pieces of data and you want to know the position of the middle, or whenever you want to know the position of the middle value, you're going to add 1 and divide by 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. So the 6th value, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, was going to be in the middle. So if you want to know the position of the middle, add 1 and divide by 2. And if there are 2 numbers in the middle, you go in between them. Next, we have a pictogram. There are only white, blue, green or red colours of front door on a street. There is a total of 24 doors. Complete the pictogram. So we're told with the key here that a full circle is worth 4 doors. So each quarter is a door. We know that that would be 1, that would be 1, that would be 1, that would be 1, because a full circle is worth 4. So that is 4. So white, how many have we got here? Well, this would be 4 and this would be 3. So there are 7 white doors. For blue, this would be 4 and this would be 2 because it's half a circle, so that would be 6. For green, that would be 2. And then we need to work out how many more we need for red. So far I've got 7, add 6, add 2, and that adds up to 15. So if I then do 24 and I take away 15, more on the floor, borrow from next door. So 14 take 5 is 9 and 1 take 1 is 0. So we've got 9 left. What would I need to draw for it to be worth 9? We definitely need to draw one circle because that's going to be 4. And then I need to draw another circle. That takes me up to 8. 4 and 4 is 8. And I need one more door. And we know that that is represented by just 1/4 of a circle. So I'm just going to draw like this. It doesn't need to be perfect. You can tell that my drawing's a little bit off there, but it's clearly an intention to do 1/4 of a circle. So that would be all good there. Next, we have a bar chart. The bar chart shows information about the ways in which 100 people travel to work. The number of people who walk is 3 times the number of people who travel by taxi. Complete the bar chart. So again, we know all of these frequencies need to add up to 100. We're given 100 in the question. And we've got 25 people who come by car. We can see that bar goes up to 25. We've got 10 people who come by bike. We can see there, that bar is up to 10. For van, I would say that is 44. We're just a little bit less than 45. So let's say 44 people there. And scooter is 5. So let's add up what we've got so far. 25, add 10, add 44, add 5. 5 add 4 add 5 is 14. So 4 carry the 1. 2 add 1, add 4, add 1 is 8. So we've got 84 so far. 100 take away 84 leaves me with 16. I've got 16 left there. More on the floor, borrow from next door. 10 take 4 is 6 and 9 take 8 is 1. So 16 there, that is what's left. Now it says I need to put 3 times the number of people walking as I do taxi. So whatever the bar is here, it needs to be 3 times bigger than the bar here. So you could think of that as a ratio of 3 to 1. Whatever is on the walking side needs to be 3 times bigger than on the taxi side. It feels like we need to divide by 3, but actually what you need to do is divide by 4. You're taking the 16 that is left and you're sharing it equally over these piles. So if I take 16 and I divide it by 4, I get 4. And then I can give 3 of those to this side and 1 of them to this side. And now the number of people that walk is going to be 12 and the number of people that taxi is 4. So this number now is 3 times bigger than this number. So when you want this number to be 3 times bigger than this, you're actually dividing by 4. If I want this number to be 10 times bigger than this, I actually need 11 parts. So you need to, if it's helpful, write it out as a ratio. Walk then, we need to do 12, so we'll go up to 12, which would look something like that. Each big square is worth 5, so we're not quite halfway, but we're there. And then taxi is going to be 4, so let's draw that a little bit less than 5 there. There we go. Those were your bars for walk. That one was 12, and that was your bar for taxi, which was 4. Next we have a pie chart, and I have my protractor here ready. So the first thing we want to do on a pie chart is to add up the total. I need to know what this is out of. So if I add together 18 and 12 and 10, I get 40. So I now know that my pie chart, the entire 360 degrees around the point, needs to be worth 40. So I'm going to take 360 degrees and divide it by 40. How many 40s go into 360? It's the same as 36 divided by 4. That is going to be 9. So each person is worth 9 degrees. We asked 40 people their favourite flavour of ice cream. Each person is worth 9 degrees. So if 18 people said vanilla, we'll do 18 times 9 to get how many degrees we should draw for that. And that is 90 add 72, so 162 there. 12 times 9 is 108, and 10 times 9 is 90. And these degrees, these angles here, should add up to 360. Right, now let's get our protractor, and you need to start with the 0 facing north. So grab your protractor and move it so that the middle of your protractor is on the middle of the line, or the middle of the pie chart, where that line ends there. And you're going to start at 0. Now my 0 is at the top. Your 0 might be the numbers on the inside. So just pay attention to that. If your 0 is on the outside, then you're going to be using the outside numbers. If your 0 is on the inside, you're going to be using the inside numbers. And we're going to come round until we get to 162 for the first one. So I'm going to go round until I get to there. I'm going to make a mark. I'm going to move that protractor out of the way, and then I'm going to join that up with a nice straight line to there and label that first section vanilla. To draw the second section, we need to move our protractor round to where that first section finished. So I'm putting the 0 at the end of that first section so that we can start drawing our next section. And the next section is 108 degrees. So go round to 108, make a mark there, move your protractor out of the way, and then join that up again with a nice straight line. So from there out to there. And I was really hoping we were going to get a nice right angle at the end, because we can see that that last section is just 90 degrees. So I'm happy that we've done that correctly. That bit is strawberry. And then this bit is chocolate here. And that's it. My pie chart added up to 360 degrees. It is fully complete. We have all of our sections and we've labelled it for 3 marks. Our next topic is frequency polygon. Now, a frequency polygon, normally students lose marks here because they will draw a bar chart. And we never ever want to see a bar chart here. Now, I have a really silly way of remembering this. And I remember that Polly the shark lives in the middle of the ocean. And that might seem really silly, but a lot of students say to me, oh, I saw frequency polygon and I remembered. And the reason I call this Polly the shark is it kind of makes like a shark fin shape like this. So you kind of end up with this kind of fin shape. And I've had year 11s come out before and say, Miss, Polly had 2 fins, and that's okay. Sometimes it goes up, comes back down, but generally it kind of makes this pointy shape, straight lines, dot to dot, and we're not going to join it to the origin because Polly is a free shark and she floats about, and we're also not going to chop Polly's body off by connecting it up like that. She wouldn't thank us for it. And Polly the shark lives in the middle of the ocean, and that is your reminder that when we're plotting these values, we're going to go in the middle of the category. So if the category goes from 0 to 5, I want to plot my point at 2.5 in the middle. So you're going to go to 2.5 down here, and you're going to go up to 7, and 7 is there. You're going to go between 5 and 10 and go up to 18, which is there. You're going to go between 10 and 15 and go up to 25, which is there. Between 15 and 20, we're going to go up to 10. And then from 20 to 25, you're going to go down to 2. The beauty of writing the questions is I made that work around the table because it didn't quite fit in. But there we go. Join them up with nice straight lines like this. And that is your graph complete. Polly the shark lives in the middle of the ocean. Kind of makes a shark fin shape. Even if it goes up, comes back down, even if it didn't do that, it just reminds you, dot to dot with straight lines, if you see a frequency polygon, you should not be drawing bars. It is not a bar chart. And last but not least, we have scatter graphs. So with scatter graphs, we need to think about the correlation. And the correlation depends on whether your points are going up, like this one down here at the bottom, or whether they're coming down, like this one up here at the top. So here, because these points are coming downwards, we would say that is negative correlation. And that means as the rainfall goes up, the number of hours of sunshine is coming down. If I was asked to explain the relationship, that's what I'd say. As the rainfall goes up, the hours of sunshine is coming down. But if they ask me for the correlation, I'll just say it's negative, which means as one goes up, the other one comes down. Down here, if they ask me for the type of correlation, I'm going to put positive because we can see that the values go up together. As the volume of traffic increases, so does the carbon monoxide level. So as they're going up together, we call that positive. If the points are going up, it's positive. If the points are coming down, it's negative. Now, an outlier is a point that does not fit the trend of the data. If you're asked, why is this point an outlier? It is a point that does not fit the trend of the data. So if you weren't sure about that, write that there. It is a point that does not fit the trend of the data. And here, it is this point out here. You can see it doesn't fit that pattern that's coming down there, and it's kind of really away from the data. It sticks out for sure. And the coordinate of that point is 2, 1, along the corridor, up the stairs there. Then it says draw a line of best fit. Now, a student said to me, the best way that they draw a line of best fit is they go all around the points to kind of make like a gherkin shape. Oh, I preferred my gherkin before, hang on. Someone said to me they go all around the points to make like a gherkin, like a pickle shape, and then they split the pickle. And I can't unsee that now. I think that's such a great way of drawing a line of best fit. It kind of takes into consideration all the points then, and split the pickle in half. I don't know, I quite like it. You don't have to do that. It's just a silly thing to do that I quite liked. So there we go, we'll go round there. That would be your line of best fit. And then we can use that line. So if you wanted to know the hours of sunshine when the rainfall was 4, you can go to 4, read up to your line of best fit, and then you can go across, and I would get 5.4 for that. So that would be if there were 4 millimeters of rainfall, I would estimate that on that day there was 5.4 hours of sunshine. So you can do things like that once you've drawn your line of best fit. Down here, our outlier is going to be this point up here, and the coordinate of that point is 118, 100 across, 18 up. And then let's draw the pickle. I'm a big fan. Like that. And then we'll split the pickle like that. Why not? So it kind of has to take into consideration that these points down here are quite low. These are all mostly above, but we can see that that kind of follows the trend there. There is our line of best fit. And there we go. There is our line of best fit. That is the first page done. So now I'm going to ask that you turn that sheet over, have a go at the second side on your own, using all of those things that we've just done, and then continue playing the video and go through these answers with me as well. Okay, let's go through the second side. Miss Bailey asks 24 students where they each wanted to go on a school trip. Here are the results. We've got museum, so let's just go ahead and start tallying these. Castle, castle, we've got farm, farm. You probably don't need to see me do all of this. Okay, there we are. So I've put them all in like that. And I now just need to do the frequency, how many was in each category. So I've got 11 for castle, 5 add 1. I've got 7 for farm, and I've got 6 for museum. Write down the place that is the mode. Well, we know the mode is the most common. We're looking for that highest frequency. So castle here was the mode. For our stem and leaf diagram, this one was actually already drawn for us. And we can see in the key that 4 line 2 represents 42. So over here where it says 40, we know that means 40. 42, that is 42, and so on. Find the range is what we're asked to do here. And the range is the highest, take away the lowest. And the highest value here is going to be in the 70s. 74 is the biggest number we've got. And we're going to take away the lowest value, which is 31, and 74, take away 31, leaves me with 43 as my range. That is the difference between the highest and the lowest. Then there are only apple, cherry, pear and plum trees in an orchard. There is a total of 30 trees. Complete the pictogram. Here again, we can see that the key, this is 4. So that's 4, add 4, add 4. We have 12 apple trees. Here we have 4 cherry and 1, because it's just a quarter. So that's 5. Here we have 4 and 2, so that is 6. Adding all of that together, 12 add 5 add 6 is 23. 23. And that means we've got 7 left. 30 in total. Take away the 23 means that I'm left with 7. And I need to then draw 7 for the plum trees here. So this is 4. And then I need 3 more. And that's going to be a shape like this. Doesn't matter if you did it in a different orientation, but don't draw it as a 2 and a 1 separately. It needs to be 3, so it needs to be that kind of L shape. Doesn't matter if it was that way up, for example. Doesn't matter as long as it was 3 sections out of 4. For our bar chart, the bar chart shows information about the total rainfall each month for 4 months in a city. In May, the total rainfall was 35, so we're going to draw that in here. And in June, the total rainfall was 20. Like that. We've used that information to complete the bar chart. That was 1 mark for each of them. It then says, Rupert thinks that February had rainfall of 15.5. Explain why Rupert is wrong. So I think for February, we're looking at this bar here. I think what she's done is said, well, 15 and a half, because it's at 15 and then we've gone half a square up. She said that that's 15.5, but it depends. If the square was worth 1, then I would agree with her. But each square is worth 5. We've gone from 15 up to 20. So if we were to go halfway, it wouldn't be half of 1, it would be half of 5. So it's actually 2.5 up. So that value there is going to be 17.5, 2.5 bigger than 15. So she thinks each square is worth 1 when actually it's worth 5, and I'm going to put Feb equals 17.5 centimetres, just to be super clear there. Then again, we have our pie chart, and the first thing we're going to do here is add it all up. So what is it out of? And if we do 56, add on 40, that's 96, and then add on 24, we get 120. So I'm going to do 360 degrees, that's how many degrees are in my pie chart. Round a point and divide it by 120, which is 3. Each person is worth 3 degrees. So we'll do 56 multiplied by 3, we'll do 40 multiplied by 3, and we'll do 24 multiplied by 3. That is 168, 120, and 72. And those values add up to 360. Let's start then by drawing our 168 degrees. I've put my protractor here with the 0 at the top there, and I'm going to go round to 168, which would be down here, looks a little bit like that. Move your protractor out of the way, and then join that up with a nice straight line from the middle to that point, and we're going to say that that is French. Then get your protractor, and again, we're going to turn it around like that. Our protractor now starts where the last section finishes. So we're going to go round this time to 120, round like that to there, move your protractor out of the way and join that up again with a nice straight line like that. This section was for Spanish and this section, 72 degrees up here, was for German. Now, it doesn't matter if you went the other way. As long as the sizes of your sections are correct, you didn't have to do them in that order, but hopefully your pie chart looked a little bit like that. Moving over to our frequency polygon, this is our Polly the shark here. So we're looking for a kind of shark fin shape. We're doing a dot to dot with all the points, and Polly the shark lives in the middle of the ocean. So we're going in the middle of the category. Between 0 and 5, we're going 2.5 up to 8. Then between 5 and 10, we're going up to 24. Between 10 and 15, we're going up to 13. Between 15 and 20, we'll go up to 11. And between 20 and 25, we'll go up to 4. Join them up, dot to dot, like this. So we get that kind of shark fin shape. There we go, loosely. Never ever join it to the origin and never ever connect it along the bottom. Polly is a free shark. She likes to float about and she definitely doesn't want you to chop her body off. So there we go. And last question here is our scatter graph. One of the points is an outlier. Write down the coordinates of this point. Well, that is going to be this point here. And I would say that's going to be at 10:19 along the corridor up the stairs. For all the other points, write down the type of correlation. We can see these points are going up. The more hours of sunshine, the higher the maximum temperature. So I'm going to say positive for that. On the same day in another British town, the maximum temperature was 16.4. So maximum temperature is on this side. So we're going to go to 16.4, but first we need to draw our line of best fit. Like that. You can draw your pickle if you want to and split the middle, something like that, hopefully. That was quite a nice clear one, I think. 16.4. Now I'm going to zoom right in because we need to be really careful here. This here is 17, right? 16 is there, 18 is there. This here is 17. If I want 16.4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, it's going to be 2 squares up. So 16.4 is here. You're going to read across at 16.4 with your ruler, hit the graph, and then go down. Like that. For me, 12 is here, so I get 12.8. You would get a small range of answers that you would be allowed, but I would say I think it allows you between 12 and 13 on this one, actually, from memory. But yeah, 12.8 was my answer. Hopefully you got something similar to that. So I'm going to pop 12.8 there as the hours of sunshine. And that is it. Fully complete. Well done. That is another unit done. Hopefully you've watched Unit 1 and Unit 2 by now. This was Unit 3. Keep your eyes peeled. Unit 4 will be out soon. Let me know if you've got any questions down below in the comments. Thank you so much. Bye.